All right, we are here. Aloha, everyone. We are live and inspired today. I am your host, Gregory Cobrana, also known on the interwebs as, you guessed it, baby, Handsome Cobra. And today, it is another exciting adventure and episode of Gentleman with a Cocktail. And as the title says, we are going to be talking about Game of Thrones. It's going to be Game of Thrones speak. And basically, I've been mulling this over for a while now, and been watching videos about Game of Thrones and all that stuff. And now I will warn you, this is going to be pretty spoiler heavy. And I'm not going to run a long time on it. Why? Because I'm actually really sick right now. I've been fighting a cold, so if I sound nasally more than usual, then that's why. I also have like the Ricola throat lozenges in, so I have like two with me. I may have to go and get more if we run into overtime, but I really don't want to make this a long video, 30, 45 minutes at most. So yeah. So basically, I will warn you too, like I said, spoilers, but also too, I really haven't seen the last episode, but I know the bullet points. I've seen the major points of the final episode of Game of Thrones season 8, episode 6. So, and basically this is just kind of like wanting to kind of recap on the whole thing, not really go over. I mean, I do want to go over certain things from beginning to end, but this is kind of all going off of memory as well. So please come with me on this fantastic voyage, and I hope you enjoy. I really do. So yeah, what I want to speak about is basically starts back to the okay. So I see a lot of people are really divisive. Either they love it or hate it. Honestly, I'm in the camp of I really love the last season. I know. I think I spoke on the last episode or episode before. My brother and I, like, literally, we got into like a heated debate about it. I mean, not like punching, more of a verbal jousting, but just like really heated verbal jousting. And also, too, I think that's when I was on the precipice of getting sick. So some of the things I just said was like sounding very fucking delirious, like Mad King type shit. Even I mean, so it's like it's like my brother probably looked at me a couple times like, brother, you need to get your head checked, man, because I don't know what the hell you're going off about. Why are you? We're talking Game of Thrones here. What the fuck are you talking about? Other shit that doesn't even relate to it. And it doesn't even fucking even an analogy or an allegory for what the hell we're talking about. What are you talking about? This is nuts, you know. So yeah, it's probably when I started feeling and getting sick. So I'm gonna blame that. Okay, let's just run with that. But no, what I wanted to talk about, and I actually brought this up too with my brother. Okay, so major points I wanted to talk about was the first men, or first people from Essos, right, across the narrow sea into Westeros, because the actual first living people were the children of the forest in Westeros, and they were the ones that kind of ruled the land and stuff like that, and had the weird trees and stuff, like weird wood trees and all that jazz. I mean, I know they didn't start making those until later, but still, yeah, the people from Essos, and then you have the Andals, right? Those are the ones from Valyria, the Targaryens. They're the ones that brought Valyrian steel. And so you have these two groups. So you can name one as the ones from the first men, basically from the first age, and then from Essos, the first age. And then you have the Targaryens or Valyrians from Valyria, who the Andals, who are basically of the second age. And I know this sounds very J.R.R. Tolkien-esque, because that's the way I was kind of breaking it down, like the first age, second age, third age, stuff like that. So, and you have to understand, I mean, it's high concept fantasy. It's, I mean, everything from, I mean, the roots of that is pretty much J.R.R. Tolkien, uh, when it comes to elves, wizards, and fairies. And even space wizards are from, stem their roots. And also, too, I mean, J.R.R. Tolkien, takes from a lot from even earlier, like religions and uh, folk tales and stuff like that. So, I mean, it's very, I mean, it's a eclectic landscape, if you will, tapestry. So, and so you have, so with this, the reason why I bring up the first and second age, okay, the first men from Essos, and the second age, the Valyrians or the Targaryens. So you have what is I like to call the modern age right now, right? And this is the whole Game of Thrones point, right, from beginning to end. When Robert Baratheon uh, from Storm's End usurps Aegon Targaryen the second, or Aerys Targaryen. I'm sorry, excuse me, not Aegon. Aerys Targaryen the second, and Jaime kills him, becomes the Kingslayer, and then so you have that. So starting from the first season, you have this modern age. What I call modern age, and that is basically what you could say is that the age of the first men is okay. So in this modern age, I'm sorry. Once again, I apologize. I'm sick, so my head's a little more foggy than normal. So the thing is that you have these people, right, in the modern age having to right wrongs of the first age, first men, and second age of the Valyrians. Okay. Now the thing is that what you could do, you could basically dot the lines all the way from the first season, and how this plays into the grander scale of correcting the wrongs from the first men of Essos all the way to the Valyrians, Targaryens, from the Andals, second age, and then going into a third age, right, into the future, which is the third age. And Robert Baratheon usurping Aerys Targaryen, Cersei playing in her role, Jaime Lannister playing his role, Tywin, all these things can be seen as a role that each character had to play in getting to where the destination was to get the third age. Because let's say that Cersei would have won. Cersei would have won, the second age would still be, right? It would just be a new face, right? And heavy spoilers ahead. The thing is that what happens is that Jon Snow kills Daenerys Targaryen, his love, and who basically melts the Iron Throne. It was Drogon, her dragon, right? The biggest, meanest, toughest, and last dragon. He's the one that destroys the Iron Throne because he senses that that's what everyone, that she was, that was the downfall. That's what, because Daenerys, again, heavy spoilers, Daenerys just didn't want to stop with, and like I said before, I haven't seen it, but I know the episode. She didn't want to stop at at Westeros. She wanted to conquer the world. She wanted to do a Napoleon. She wanted to do a Hitler. She wanted to conquer the world. She would not have been. She was turning into everything that she did not want to be. She was breaking the wheel, all right, but she was breaking the wheel in a way where she would be the conquering queen, right? And the problem is that the world is too vast of a landscape and tapestry to conquer all. It's too wide of a grasp. Maybe one day a person will do that, but right now, no, it's not. Even with today's ingenuity, it is not sound. It's too big of a radius, too big of a berth. And the thing is that she basically had that hubris because she's like, well, I have a dragon. It's like, well, you have one dragon. You had three. If you had three dragons that were like massive, I mean, like great worms from Shadowrun or from Dungeons and Dragons, Advanced Dungeons and Dragons, to be more specific, then maybe, just maybe. Excuse me. But with that being said, her wanting to not stop at Westeros, right? She goes up to the Iron Throne. She touches it. I don't believe that she even sits on it. Jon Snow kisses her passionately and stabs her with a dagger. And then basically, Jon Snow did the one thing. He forsaked his honor to save, quite literally, possibly all Westeros and maybe even the world. He did the same thing that Ned Stark did in the first season. Ned Stark basically forsaked his honor to save not just his life, but the livelihood of his family, and said that basically that was not true, that he plotted against I can't think of his name. King Joffrey, to usurp him because he didn't think that he was worthy of the crown. Basically made up false rumors that he is not the son of Robert Baratheon, but the son of Jaime, an incest baby of Jaime and Cersei and the rest of her children, Tommen and their daughter as well, I cannot remember her name right now, are also their children as well, incestual children. So he forsaked his honor. So at the behest of Lord Varys, who also died the previous episode as well, burned alive by Drogon. A lot of burning going on this this season. Burning of the Iron Throne by Drogon, burning of Lord Varys by Drogon, burning of ships, burning of innocents in King's Landing by Drogon. A lot of dragon fire going on. Excuse me. But the thing is that, and in Drogon, excuse me. So like his surrogate father, because we learn and find out that Jon Snow's real name is Aegon Targaryen. He is the child, the boy of Rhaegar Targaryen and Lyanna Stark. And they were married in secret. And he is the rightful heir to the throne. Now, technically, people could say that, yes, he has a claim to the throne, and actually, he was in all right to kill Daenerys. Which, on one side of the table, is true. On another side, people could be like, well, he sacrificed his honor because he said that he didn't care about the throne, that he didn't want it, that she could have it, and he swore his allegiance and fealty to her, and he would die for her. So thus, once again, it comes, I told this to my brother, but I'll bring it up again. The thing is, Jaime Lannister is my favorite character because of when he is talking with Catelyn Stark and he first meets Brienne of Tarth. And basically he calls her a beast, Brienne of Tarth, who he actually has sex with on multiple occasions in the last season. So he laid the beast multiple times. So didn't see that one coming. But the thing that he says is that basically, because Catelyn Stark calls him Kingslayer, he's like, Kingslayer. That's right. I am a Kingslayer. It's like he was basically telling her. He's basically said that, hey, this is to Aerys Targaryen, second of his name, protector of the realm in the seven. Lord of the Seven, High Lord of the Seven Kingdoms, protector of the realm, and to the blade that I slay he. And basically, she was like, you have no honor. It's like, he's like, listen, look, honor. And then he basically says that, what if your father hates the king? What if the king is ready to burn millions? Where does your loyalty lie? Does it lie to your family? Does it lie to the king? You swear all these oaths that in the end you forsake one oath for another, and then it becomes too much. And that's the thing, is that a lot of times, well, that's like Jon Snow. He swore fealty and loyalty to the Night's Watch. He swore fealty and loyalty to his family. He swore fealty and loyalty to Daenerys Targaryen. It wasn't until she became fucking crazy, I shouldn't say crazy, but basically when she was talking about Stark-Raven madness, committing atrocities to innocents and burning tens of thousands of people, that basically made him think twice. And then basically Tyrion goes on trial. He's thrown in jail, basically for letting Jaime go. And then Tyrion sees Jaime and Cersei dead in each other's arms, crumbled by the rubble that fell upon them because of the destruction and atrocity that Daenerys Targaryen, her queen, him being still the hand of the king at this time, committed. The bells were rung, but yet she still laid waste and siege to the city because she felt that basically a wrongness had been done to everything that had been done to her led up to this moment, and how easily it was taken away from her family. So she was like, you know what, burn it all down. I'll be the Queen of Ashes, and a new world will arise because it's my birthright. And the thing is that Jon did what many would say would be a utilitarian play. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Very Star Trek, very Vulcan-esque. He forsaked his honor and loyalty. He became what he hated, and that was Jaime Lannister in the end. And the thing is that the one thing about Jaime is that Jaime, not a good man, but redeemed himself nonetheless. Jon going with the wildlings, making a home with them, with Tormund, Giantsbane, and the rest of the wild folk. He, I believe, is on his path to redemption, to redeeming himself. And with that, I wish Jon good fortune. And I do hope that in the end, that Jon does find that redemption. Because I don't see Jon as a good man. Better man than Jaime? No. He did what he did, what he believed was right. But now, Jon had become the thing that he hated the most. Jaime Lannister. Now he understands Jaime's pain. Now he understands. Now he gets to walk in Jaime's shoes. It's a hard thing to do. And you can see it, like when Jaime first meets Winterfell. That basically he just kind of very dismissive of Jon. I think he says, "Oh, where's the bastard at?" Isn't it a bastard? He's like it's very backhanded, very passive, just wavy hand. But still, it's one of those things. I mean, the Starks look at Jaime as just utter shit, but they don't know. And the only person who truly knows is Brienne. And Brienne who is now a part of the King's Guard, head of the King's Guard, along with Podrick, because King Bran the Broken is actually the king now. Bran Stark, or the Three-Eyed Raven, is named King Bran the Broken by a council of people, and basically, since Bran cannot have children, a new king will be elected by the council, and so on and so forth. And that's the way that the politics will be from now on. So the wheel has been broken, in a sense. And Brom is actually Master of Coin, lives in Highgarden now. Sam Tarly is the head maester, Maester Tarly. And Tyrion Lannister is actually the hand of the king. Bran's hand. Bran the Broken's hand. Now, getting what I was saying before, and I know I'm jumping around again. So, all this stuff. So you have the First Age. The first men of Essos coming over to the west, fighting the Children of the Forest, then being in agreement with the Children of the Forest. Basically, hey, you killed some of ours, we killed some of yours. Basically, let us have a parlay, let us have a ceasefire and get along with each other. And the Children of the Forest, basically, in their non-infinite wisdom and paranoia, created the Night King, who thus created the Whites, and then they created the White Walkers. Basically, because of the Children of the Forest paranoia that basically they're men and they will never stop killing one of us. And one day, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, maybe many, many seasons from now, they will wipe us out. So it's killed or be killed. Us against them before us, but them before us, whatever analogy you want to go with. And so, yeah. And then you have the time of the Andals. And then, well, you have the first men, and then they create the wall. And yeah, the ice wall and stuff like that to keep the White Walkers out, and the Night King. And then you have the Time of the Andals. Now, everyone thinks of this as like rumor and hocus pocus and just a scary bedtime story that you say. And then you have Time of the Andals, Second Age, right? And that being when the Targaryens came, blood and fire came ruling and stuff with their new gods, the Seven, the Mother, the Warrior, and all the others. I can't remember. But yeah. And the thing is, and they're the ones that created the Iron Throne. Aegon the Conqueror created the Iron Throne. Basically, as a reminder, as like basically of the Targaryens defeating their enemies. And basically, you don't fuck with our Targaryens. And they are the ones that are truly the rulers of the land in King's Landing. In the southern states or southern places. So that's the Second Age. And then you have the Modern Age, and basically it's just a tearing down of it. And the modern people, everybody in the Modern Age had to right the wrongs, right the mistakes of the first men, the Second Age, and right the wrongs. Right the wrongs of the first men, the First Age, the ones from Essos, and then the Targaryens, the Valyrians of the Second Age. They had to do two. Heavy task to ask people from the Modern Age, which a lot of these things are just like ghosts and goblins and folk tales, fairy tales, to keep little ones at bay and not go running off in the night, stuff like that. Ghoulish tales, right? Not so much. But it becomes legend. It does. And I find that very fascinating. Excuse me while I get another Ricola. I find that very fascinating. That they were the people of the Modern Age, who had to right the wrongs of the First Age and the Second Age. And now you have more of, I don't want to say democracy or republic type, socio-republic maybe, I don't know. But it's not a full democracy nonetheless. But so much blood and honor was taken and given as well to get here, to get to the Third Age, to the future age, to further that age. Right. Grey Worm and the Unsullied, they were never, in the Dothraki. Now that the Queen is gone, they have no use for Westeros. They pick up and leave. They go to the Isle where Missandei was talking to Grey Worm about going. Both the Unsullied and Dothraki, the rest of them, they leave. Well, Jon Snow takes the black because Jon Snow cannot, because to appease the Unsullied and the Dothraki for the crime, the atrocity that he committed by sacrificing his honor and basically betraying his queen, becoming a queen slayer. He had to take the black and could not father any children of his own. But basically, it's like the Unsullied are just kind of, they don't know Westeros, so it's just for them. They're like, okay, he has to go back up north. He cannot partake in politics anymore. He's been excommunicated, and that's fine. And honestly, my brother and I, we think that that's the best thing for Jon, because that's where Jon's true heart is in the north. He is 100%. Though his blood may be Targaryen, he is 100% a Stark. His true feelings, his true home is in the north with the wildlings. Farther north, really. Where Ygritte's people are and stuff like that, and and maybe he'll never father children. Maybe he'll find someone, maybe he won't. You never know. But yeah. Mistakes of the past. Righting wrongs of the past, of the First Age and the Second Age. That's what I find very enticing and very intriguing about the modern age. That they had to do this. And I want to say that I don't believe that a lot of people are giving D.B. Wise and David Benioff a lot of credit for what they have done. I don't think that people could see it as rushed. Maybe not. I mean, they did have 2 years a year and a half to 2 years to get the show out and stuff like that. I think they took their time with it. Would another episode or two, couldn't they have made like 8 episodes out of the season? Probably. I believe so. So it wouldn't felt so rushed. Probably. But the thing is that I believe it ended in a good way. I believe it ended where it needed to end. Right? The wheel has been broken. And you can't, as my brother likes to say, you cannot unfuck something, right? You can't unfuck it. You just can't. You just can't. You can't unfuck it. Once you fucked it, you can't unfuck it. So, and they can't unfuck it. So, the wheel has been broken, but at a great, devastating cost. But also, too, it's the problem is that these people at the modern age, a lot of them just won't back down because of birthright, usurperness. There we go. Feeling like they're entitled or guaranteed something. The Lannisters, Targaryens, and of righteousness, the Starks, nobility. Feeling entitled could also be the Baratheons. Tullys, the fish. Frey's are dead, so then they don't matter. It was nice to see Yara representing the Ironborn, the Greyjoys. So yeah, and then you had Representative Dorne. And also to Bran the Broken, King Bran the Broken, granting Sansa Stark, who is Queen of Winterfell now, the independence, being its own independent from, kind of like how Dorne is, basically how it's the South, and it has like king and queen, but really it's like they're a minor king and queen to King's Landing, but no one's gonna really fight them over a title. But Sansa being Queen of Winterfell, having its independence, very reminiscent of in our own country, that of the Lone Star State of Texas, even though they keep on threatening to one day rise against the Union and go off on their merry way because they have it in their constitution that they can subside from the Union anytime. That's a false narrative that many Texans like to have a very hallucinating display of affection over and imagery about, but at the end of the day, that's not true. So if you are from Texas and you totally believe that, it's very false. So, and I'm sorry to break it to you, but it is. It's called reading history books and knowing your history, especially American history. But yeah. So yeah, and on that being said, I'm going to start winding this down to a close. And the last thing I will say, there is one more thing before we wind down. I think that from 5 years, 10 years from now, I think it won't be a Lost, right? I won't like the show Lost. I think that a lot of people will reflect on it, look back on it, just like I believe with The Last Jedi, that people will look back on it, reflect on it, and look at the new Star Wars trilogy as a whole and say that, you know what, it wasn't half bad. Until we saw the whole picture, it's pretty good. Not apologists, but just people. It's like the parts do not equal the sum. That's what you have to understand. Part of a picture does not equal the sum of it. Everything has to fit in its right place, and you have to take in everything. And that's what a lot of people don't do. They put the cart before the horse. They jump the gun. They jump the barrel. They go in half-cocked, whatever analogy you want to use. They only look at the parts, not the sum. They don't add everything up. And I think 5-10 years from now, I think that everybody will see it the way that I'm projecting it right now, or my subjective projection of it now. I think a lot of people will look back and be like, you know what, it was actually a grand ending. Because I think George R. R. Martin, he'll bring out his books, and I don't think a lot will change so much in the ending. I mean, I think that certain things will probably change. I don't think that he'll be. I mean, he gave the rough draft, the cliff notes, to D.B. Wise and David Benioff, and there were some things that they went with, some things they didn't go with. There were some things that, like the scene with Arya and Tywin, never happened in the books. Osha, the actress, her character in the books never had a bigger part than on the show. I mean, the D.B. Wise and David Benioff loved the actress so much is that they made her a bigger part of it. I think the actress is phenomenal. I first saw her in About a Boy, a movie with Hugh Grant and Nicholas Hoult. Nicholas Hoult's, I think, his first film debut, being a child actor. And then the second time I saw her was in Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix in the beginning. She is one of the wizards there, part of the Order of the Phoenix in the beginning. And so, and yeah, so I think a lot of people will look back on the series, not just the season, but the series as a whole, and look back on the season 2, season 8, and they'll be like, yeah, some things may have been rushed, but it stands the test of time. It got us to where we needed to be, and the ending does make sense, and the ending stands on its own. And the modern age had to right the wrongs of the first men, the men from Essos, the first age, right the wrongs of the second age, the age of the Andals, the ones from Valyria, ones who brought Valyrian steel, the Targaryens, blood and fire, Aegon the Conqueror, who created the Iron Throne. That right there was the starting of the second age. And then you had this modern age where all the players, from Ned Stark to Robb Stark to Bran Stark to Rickon Stark to Ramsay Bolton to Sansa, Arya, Cersei, Robert Baratheon, Jaime, Tywin, everybody. Um, Tyrion, everybody. Grey Worm, Yara, Gendry, House Tully, House Frey, the Red Wedding, all this modern age stuff had to come to fruition to shepherd all this blood, all this deceit, all the Game of Thrones, everything. Brienne of Tarth, Stannis Baratheon, the Knight of Flowers, everybody, Highgarden, Queen of Thorns, the grandmother, everybody. Everyone shepherded the Third Age in their own way. They may have had bit roles, how can I forget? Littlefinger. Varys. Lord Varys. I mean, all these players, they are the ones who shepherd in the modern age. They are the ones that I believe that the Lord of Light played. It was truly a song of ice and fire. The Lord of Light played chess, positioning these people. Beric Dondarrion, Sandor Clegane, the Hound, Gregor Clegane, the Mountain, everybody. Jorah Mormont, Joran Mormont, Lady Mormont, everybody. Everyone who contributed. Tormund Giantsbane, Mance Rayder, Aemon Targaryen, the one in the black, the Maester at Castle Black. I mean, everything happened for a reason. Everything. To get us, to further us to the third age, the future age. And I think that people will understand and will look back and say, it wasn't so bad. It was actually pretty satisfying. But it's like what they say, hindsight's always 20/20. You have to divorce yourself from something. You have to take another perspective, another look at it. And just not be so wrapped up in the zeitgeist. So, and with that being said, I'm going to bring this lovely conversation to a close. Because even though I'm sick, I am also getting tired. And I feel like I'm spinning my wheels a little bit. But thank you so much, everyone, for watching the video. Please like and subscribe to the channel, Handsome Cobra. Please share with your friends as well. I hope that you enjoyed this talk about Game of Thrones, this Game of Thrones speak. I don't know if I'll ever do another one. But I will say this, that now that Google Hangouts is working again, oh yes, it is. Google Hangouts is working again. I tested it. Hopefully, Chris and I, if the gods let us be worthy, we will have another Gentleman with Cocktails coming up in the near future. Hopefully next week when I feel a lot better, much better. And yeah, so thank you so much again, everyone. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, share with your friends. Love to all. God bless. And as always, you know it, baby. Aloha. Thank you so much, everyone.